what's the significance of Father's Day? Yes.
Ndibulisa umfundisi ibandla lakhe lonke uYesu Kristu ngomene. So Father's Day means absolutely nothing. To a point that I don't even know when Father's Day is. I'm only aware of Father's Day when there are preparations at church. So it's not to say that I don't know any males. I have a father, he's alive and very much alive, but we don't have a relationship. The only time my father spoke to me this year is to ask me whether I'm married or not, because he saw a picture that I had posted on WhatsApp. So he was concerned by am I married or not, because why would I be married without him? That's the relationship I have with my father. And Father's Day it means nothing, because I've never had a person to call utata. I have uncles, but they are not my father. I have a grandfather, but he's not my father. So I have male figures, but they are not my father. So I don't have a connection or kind of relationship or whatever, any feelings towards Father's Day. I don't even recognize it as a day.
Thank you very much. Uthando, you youth, we're celebrating Youth Day on Father's Day. What does Youth Day mean to you? And if you were to have a father, how would you imagine a day with a dad, just one day?
Good morning, everyone. She said, my name is Utando Kevin. Okay, so a Youth Day to me is a powerful reminder where the sacrifice of the youth, of the young heroes and heroes that made during the apartheid time and at the Soweto uprising, which meant a lot to all of us here. And then a day with my father, that's quite a not good question for me, because like she also said that my Father's Day to me is also nothing. It totally means nothing. So, let me start here. My father was an alcoholic, and then he left us when I was 10 years old. So that's the last time I saw him or even talked to him. So a Father's Day with him, a day with him, I think it would be a very good and a healthy day towards me, because I'm also a child and I need a day with my father. So, and I think a day with him will be a very mentoring and filling a position of a parent towards me, and actually giving me some structures and some ideals about how to be a father, because one day I will be a father. Thank you.
Yesterday, I'm reminded of something whilst Tanya is speaking. So yesterday generally, Dr. Ashley, Zwane is known to be a church that embraces inclusivity. And this question is not coming to you. I'm just letting you know. So we're a church that is known to include the marginalized, those that are on the sidelines or those that are sidelined. Mr. Langaniso, can I put you on the spot here? Yesterday, we had a dialogue here in this very church of the LGBTI community, where females who turned themselves into men and men who turned themselves into females. I interacted because I had quite a lot of friends who are in that community, and intentionally so, I was part of the organizing organizing committee. This church has been known for that and stigmatized Dr. Ashley for being a church that includes the marginalized. But in few years, we're seeing that kind of creeping up again. Mr. Lani, so yesterday, a guy or now a girl shared a story or their story, because they refer to them as his and was, or whatever they refer to them as, that he came out that his sexual preference is of the same sex. And the father disowned him. As a result, he ended up living on the streets. He recognizes himself as a female living in Joburg. And the father decided to say, because he will not carry the lineage of our family. And he disowned his own child. What would you say that, what is the church doing? In particular, what is the fellowship of men doing to make sure that you will retain such boys, such girls, that are disowned by their own biological fathers? How do you then, when they come to church and they say, I have found my safe space, that I know even if the world can say I don't belong, but in this church I have fathers who will see me as their own? How can you say we can retain such? Yo.
Yeah, thank you, Tandas.
This is really important. But then again, it goes back to the stand that the church has taken. And quite a while back, I was reading a General Assembly paper. I think it was 2012, or I think it's 2004, this debate was being discussed, homosexuality in church. And I read this paper, and then eventually, I think in 2012, it was resolved that in church we do embrace homosexuality, sameness, in the sense that there were times in this church, let's not way back, where same-sex marriages were frowned upon. There were times in this church where even ministers, in fact, even female ministers to be ministers. There were a lot of things in the church. It may not be this church only. But I hasten to say that recently we had an incident. There was an incident way back 2007 where there was a young man who had actually graduated or was about to graduate from youth, and this young man was trying to decide whether to join men or join young women and so on. And I remember that at least he came to us that year. And but cut a long story short, he's no longer here. You might remember him. You might remember him. So there's not, at this point in time, we haven't been afforded an opportunity as the Fellowship of Men, as a church also, where there is somebody who says, at least I want to join the Fellowship of Men, even though at least in his heart, in her heart, is a woman or a lady, whatever the case may be. So we have not been. The policy, I would assume, and I'm not 100% that we, in line with other churches, we are in line as UPCSA in terms of not discriminating anyone in terms of sex and in terms of race or color or anything. We are more inclusive, even though at least my father amongst ourselves, there are people who haven't come out and say, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing.
Thank you very much.
Am I still going to talk?